The problem is that there are just too many people at the same level. We don't have anyone with the authority to make that decision. Okay, I hear you. And guess what? I'm going to make the decision. So, there, you have your answer and your fix. Hey, this is MichelleSpiva, your practical priestess of wisdom, and I want to welcome you to today's podcast of Wisdom Smack. Mwah. So, join me on the flip as we get ready to go into this holiday season and make sure that you know what tribe you're in, honey. So, we're going to be taking a look at, are you a thermometer, a thermostat, or a mattress? I'll see you on the flip. All right, y'all, it's time to get to it. This is the week of the start of the big time holiday season. I'm talking about we're getting ready to go into Thanksgiving at the time of this recording. Now, if you're listening to this off season, that's okay. You can still get some great information. So, because of that, you and I both know we got to go and be around people that we have shared DNA with and folks we do not know all in the same room at the same time when everybody is trying to find their social tribe and get their footing. Now, in other podcasts, I have definitely talked about whenever you meet someone, there is always this unspoken bid for dominance or submission or whatever. But there are also some other things that you need to be aware of when you are in a group of people that you are unfamiliar with or that you have not seen in a while or that you just choose to not spend any other time than the guilt holidays. Now, I shouldn't call these the guilt holidays, but you do understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's get into this. So I want to ask you today, are you the thermometer, the thermostat, or the mattress? It matters. And I'm going to help you today. And I'm going to tell you from the rip, none of them are bad. So let's get into it. All right. So I thought about what I thought about this long and hard. And this to me, I almost call this the first aid kit for not getting into fights over the holidays. But I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So I was like, instead, I'm going to give you guys some of the wisdom that I have gotten over the years to learn how to act appropriately in the situation. Now, I'm going to go on and just say it. Of these, I tend to be a mattress, and I am not a mattress to be stepped on or used. Oh, no, honey, my powers are strong here because I have been a thermometer and a thermostat, and I choose to use the superpower of being a mattress. So don't sleep on being a mattress. Let's get into it. So, as you guys are probably like, why is she talking about thermometers and thermostats? Because it matters, people. We have wisdom afoot, and we need to grab and catch on so that we will not end up making our relatives upset, stomping out, and having a horrible time of the holiday season. Y'all, there's nothing worse than to be cold, mad, and hungry on a day when you're supposed to be feasting, eating, and loving. All right, so thermostats. No, I'm going to go with thermometers first. Okay. So I'm just going to say that with this has been one of the greatest times, greatest analogies that I have been able to use to quickly remember what my role is, what my tribe is, and what I'm supposed to be doing given the particular circumstance, situation, and environment or group I'm in. Okay, so a thermometer. A thermometer, by its practical terminology, is a device that measures temperature or measures a temperature gradient. It has two important elements. Yep, two that work with it. It's first of all got the way to sense the temperature, which they call a temperature sensor. That could be like a bulb of mercury in a glass thermometer, or even a fancier one that uses an infrared scanner to gauge the temperature of an area. And what it does, and so that's the first part, and then the other part is it has some kind of way of converting whatever this change is or whatever it senses into some kind of recognizable uh data, meaning that usually it gives it out in some kind of numerical value or scale that is appropriate for whomever is using it. And so it's usually going to be a readout, or it's going to be a red gauge on an apparatus or something like that. And so it is used to monitor processes and progress of a situation by terms of articulating the temperature, the heat or the cold. All right. So that's the fancy way of saying a thermometer takes the temperature of a room or an environment. Okay. So, but then we got this thermostat. And the thermostat is, now this is the, like I said, the fancy smancy. A thermostat exerts control by switching heating or cooling devices on or off. And its purpose is to regulate the flow of heat transfer fluid as needed to maintain the correct temperature. All right. So, thermometer takes the temperature and lets people know what it is. The thermostat regulates the temperature and keeps it in a nice, correct temperature as set by whomever it is. And by they do it the thermostat does it by regulating the amount of heat and cool that's in the air. Okay, so it's a flow and it exerts control. All right. So now that we've got those proper terms out, what does this got to do with the tea in China, or what does this have to do with you? All right. So if you are a thermometer, that's the one that takes the temperature. You tend to be a strong observer. You take the temperature of things. A lot of times you're passive in this action, and you take a defense stance where you're in defense because you have a very powerful gift of observation. A lot of times you're reactionary because you do not activate that power until something goes down, until there is a change in the atmosphere. And you're really good at monitoring processes and progress. As a thermometer, you have the superpower of being able to know, to see, and to track movements and trends. You're the person who is able to correctly tell what's happening or possibly what's going to happen because you crave precision in knowing the correct and factual situation. And because of that, you have a repository of data that you're able to see. Now, remember, we said that you're real good at knowing and tracking movements and trends. Therefore, you tend to know patterns, see things. Sometimes you can even be a futurist because you're so good at this because at any given time, you know the temperature of a situation, of a room. You know when things are smooth. You know when things are hot. And guess what? You know when things are about to pop off, and therefore you could take cover. Now, because of this great observation skill that you have, you tend to be very analytical and your prediction game is on point. You Some people even may think of you as a psychic or a prophet when it comes to things that are in your wheelhouse, things that you really care about, know, and like, because you have this powerful sense of knowing. You see, you know the environment and you know the threats and weaknesses of a system, of this group, of the situation, or of this room. You're the auditor, you're the grand observer and the inspector. Okay. So now, if you are the thermostat, oh, shucky ducky, you are the instigator. You're the one who regulates the temperature of things. You are I'm not going to say that word, you are the poo starter. you are you are the one that gets the party started or gets the fighting going. You are the bull, the tank, and the mood swinger of an environment because you regulate the temperature of things. Now, your stance, instead of being defensive or even, playing it smooth, you are assertive. And because of that, you can be seen as offensive or taking the offense. And you're very proactive. You maintain the flow And if you're good at this, you maintain the flow and the harmony of a situation. Because as a thermostat, you're able to influence, persuade, and even manifest stuff. You are the powerful, and you have this gift of initiative and action and productivity that's contagious. You get others around you to do what you will because you are the emotional regulator of a group, of a room, of a whatever. And you have actually been able, not actually, but you have been able to tap into favor, to get favor and agreements with people. There are many times you are a thermostat for not only people, but for things and monies and energies. You are the movement starter. You are the linchpin. We've talked about that in another podcast. And you are able to make your will be done in everything that you attend to because of your tenacity. See, the term thermostat actually comes from the Greek meaning standing or stationary or steady because you are the rock of Gibraltar. Things don't get past you because the buck stops here. It has been said that not only are you the regulator and the controller, but that you're also the general. If this is your story, you are either the protagonist or the antagonist, and you are always attuned to your internal senses. Oh, yes. Now, as we're switching back to the thermometer. As a thermometer, you're that person who knows exactly what's going on and possibly what needs to be done. A lot of times people think of you as the implementer, the integrator. You're the one that you can analytically do things and you are very administrative. You are the one who is able to be very logistical to make sure that people get things done. So whereas the thermostat is the general, you are his or her advisor and you are the administrative or the COO, the chief operating officer. You are the top lieutenant because you're able to disseminate and always have a good understanding. If we're talking about strategy and tactics, you are the great tactician, and the thermostat is the great strategist. And it is because of as a thermometer, you have a great attention to detail. You can go into the granular, and you are able to give an accurate assessment at any given time of what's going on. Basically, you are the freaking golden goose who lays the golden eggs. Without you, groups and life would be miserable because everybody else would be running around either being a thermostat or a sometimes thermometer. But you are able to always go with the times and understand what are the threats and weaknesses, what are the vulnerabilities. Whereas the thermostat is always moving forward, looking for opportunities and using their strengths. Now, why is this important and what does this have to do with how you're going to be working in, not working, but existing in your holiday season with all these different people? Um, you're going to learn that you can sit back in the cut, be like, and I don't want to say Switzerland, but it's become a term here. No, no shade, no tea to Switzerland. But what I'm saying is you have a gift of diplomacy because you're able to uh move and observe and take in things. Even though you are very analytical, you also uh, have a bit of a flow and a harmony like a thermostat, but you don't exert that power. So it's a secondary power for you. You are a behind the scenes type of person. You are the one when rubber meets the road. People need to know what is going on. You're the person who has the answers. Now, in your holiday times, if you are like nodding and saying, "Yep, that's me. That's me. I don't like to get in the midst of the fray. I want to be able to eat my turkey and my mashed potatoes, and I just want everybody to be fine," or whatever. The best thing for you when you go into this situation, now listen to me, love. Listen, Linda. Listen. This is gonna help you. When you get there, quickly identify who the thermostat is, and it might be more than one person. If it is more than one person and you know, oh my God, these Rams are going to clash today, what you might want to do is you might want to find the one who is exerting the most dominance or the one who is smarting to exert the most dominance. And I'm going to say this, a lot of times when you're dealing with, especially adults, and you're dealing with pecking orders in the family, whether it be who's the oldest, who's the youngest, who's the middle child, or dealing with pecking orders of who were the good kids, who were the bad kids, or who were the rich cousins, who were the fair to middling cousins, who were the cousins on the struggle tip, who was the black sheep, and who was the angel. This is going to give you great insight on to who is possibly going to be the agitator of the day or the weekend or whatever it is you guys are going to be doing. And when you peep that, what I want you to do is take a little time to do what you do well, observe, get your information, and look for the threats and the weaknesses in the system. If you see someone who is a mattress and a bad one, because we're going to talk about mattress in a minute. A bad mattress, they don't know they're a mattress. What you might want to do is join forces with them, co-opt them into your plan, and strengthen them enough that when need be, they can step in when the thermostats clash. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is a strategy, people. This is to keep your heartburn level down. This is to help you not have everything go to pot because y'all can't get along. Oh, when they turn the football games on, I want you to be ready. I want you to be ready. I want you to have your your sergeants and your captains ready to regulate some stuff because the thermostats are going to show up and try to show out. Now, it may only be one. That could be the patriarch or the matriarch of the family, and all is well. But 9 times out of 10 in today's society, oh, yes, you have these young bucks. And when I say young bucks, I'm not necessarily talking about young in age, but I'm talking about those people who are coming and they're like, you gonna know that I regulate this because with thermostats, they are all about dominating and dominance. And with thermometers, you don't have a problem being submissive because there is power in both. Submissive does not mean that you lay down and take it. Submissive might simply mean that you are more covert and that you exude your power and authority by the sublime and the subtle and the covered and the secretive. And I have seen many thermometers who are able to correctly assess and then dispatch the necessary components to make the right thermostat work. All right. So let me get over to my thermostats and then we're gonna talk about our mattresses and I'm gonna let y'all go because I want y'all to be ready this week. And I'm giving it to you early enough so you can start practicing. All right. So with our thermostats, if you are a thermostat, I want you to be on the lookout for your potential to blow up the place. I want you to make sure that in your need to regulate the temperature and the mood and the pace, that you be aware of not only your strengths and opportunities, but your vulnerabilities. You have a higher potential to be antagonized by mattresses, by thermometers. And you might be saying, well, how can I be antagonized by a thermometer? A thermometer, like I said, is they are a lot of times they're able to march their own beat. They can observe, and just because you might want everybody to go or to choose this game to watch, they might not be in your crowd. And just because you might be on the pecking order at the top, you might not get a entire consensus. So when you get to your place and you start doing what you do, regulating stuff, telling people how things going to be, making strong suggestions where you expect everybody to comply and fall in line, I want you to notice that person who is not moved by your antics and by your show of force. I want you to notice that person who is sublime and who is fine no matter what. That person that when a food fight is going on, they are still sitting, eating their food, and possibly laughing at you. I want you to identify the thermometer, identify that great observer, because that great observer is going to be your best bet for staying in line, because a good thermostat has a thermometer embedded in it so that it's always taking the temperature and controlling it. That's called an automatic thermostat. And so you would do well to make sure that you are utilizing all of the resources available to you. Now, do not look at these people as objects to be played with and used at your discretion. Show honor to the thermostat, because the thermostat is going to help you have a very good holiday. Oh, yes. Listen to them because they know. And a lot of times they're going to tell you stuff or suggest that you calm down. You slow back. You give somebody else the floor. You let somebody else pick. Oh, what music y'all gonna play in the background? You let somebody else choose whether you're gonna have green beans or green bean casserole. Pull back. Use them to the greatest advantage that you can, which is going to be your consultant, your wisdom, and they will keep you in check. Oh, yes, they will. Now, I know you're going to have a need to make sure that everybody stays happy or everybody continues to have fun. And you're going to think that the way to do that is to always be making the suggestions, take the lead, and be proactive. But in all of this proactionary, that's not a word, I already know, because I looked it up, but I'm going to still use it. But in all of your proactionary stuff, you slow your roll enough to check in with the person that or persons that you know are the thermometers. When you have them on your side, willing to work with you, they knock those rough edges off of you where you are not the bull in the china shop. Instead, you are the graceful gazelle, being the focal point as you rightfully deserve, that everyone is willing to be awed and enamored with. All right. All right. So let's talk to these mattresses. Now, I'm going to tell you a mattress is someone who was either a thermometer or a thermostat and who learned the art of diplomacy. They are the ones, like Kenny Rogers says, they know when to hold them, they know when to fold them, and they know when to run. Now, a mattress, why a mattress? Because a mattress can flip on whichever side is needed that the situation calls for. And they can remain neutral in all of this. And so with the mattresses, their motto is, my name is Bennett and I sure enough ain't in it. And what they do is they march to their own beat, kind of like the thermometer. And if they need to, they will speak up or they will try to talk sense. But they only do it when it comes time that there is just no other way this is going to happen. This is your person who they going to have a good time no matter what goes down. And if things get out of hand, they're either going to take over and become the alpha over the thermostat and be like, it's time for you to go. You're not welcome anymore. You have upset everybody. Or, on the other hand, if the thermostat is trying to do too much and getting frazzled, because you know, you have thermostats like that. Don't think that the thermostat is going to be your obnoxious uncle. A lot of times it's going to be your matronly mother who is trying to make so hard that everything is perfect and everybody has a great time that she is wrecking havoc and everybody is walking on eggshells. And so your mattress is your great diplomat who is able to walk between the lines on either side while both sides are in full frontal assault, firing at each other. They walk between the lines without a bullet, missile, or any kind of injury impacting them, and they can go to either side with anonymity and do some things. And so I'm not saying that the mattress is better. I am not. I'm just saying that the mattress becomes one after hard won battles, many injuries, and we are just not here for the dumb stuff no more. All right. So, um, what I want you to know is this, and I know I'm kind of laughing, but this stuff is really basic family dynamic going into the holiday season. A lot of people don't realize that you are going into the family constellation. And the family constellation, think of it like the stars above, the planets orbiting and circling, and who needs to be the sun, who needs to have everybody circling around them, who wants to be Neptune and Pluto past the seven, where they are the outliers. They march to their own beat. They might even be the black sheep, and they're okay with that. I just came, they might be the people like, look, I just came to get a sweet potato pie, eat some food, and then I'm out, or whatever it might be. What you want to do is you want to be as equipped as possible so that you don't wreck your day and possibly the next year. So many times there have been situations that could have been avoided because people didn't understand simple little dynamics like this. That first and foremost, whenever people come into contact with each other, especially family, relatives, and friends, there is this fight for dominance. You become a pact, like a wolf pack. You have your alphas, your betas. So, like an alpha is going to be a thermostat, a beta is going to be a thermometer, and then you have your pack, which is uh, going to be the lesser of the two. And then you have your outliers that are mattresses. Those are going to maybe be your lone wolves. Those are going to be the elder wolf who is the great teacher or whatever. They're going to be the ones that can see both sides objectively and are very well versed in acting on either side, but they choose to remain neutral. They're in the middle. Okay. And so just be aware of these types of things because they will help you. And I want y'all, if you're listening to this and you put this to use, please let me know how it went for you. Because I'm telling you, folks are like, oh, that sounds so crazy. But then they remember, they're like, oh, I seem to be a thermostat. And I've actually had people that say, oh, I'm the thermometer. And they go into a situation, they're like, oh, Michelle, guess what? I'm a thermostat because I just couldn't let it go. I had to win the argument. I had to make sure they saw things my way. I had to prove I was right. I had to watch my whatever team was playing. I had to. And they don't even realize that they are an unchecked thermometer. And also this. Now this is a really big wisdom smack. If you find that you are whichever you find you are, thermostat, thermometer, mattress, or whatever, make sure you know who is the home team. If you do not, I don't care how big of a thermostat you are, do not go into somebody else's house trying to regulate their environment, even if they are a weaker thermostat. You need to learn how to be a mattress when you go to somebody else's house. Now, if somebody, and this is going to happen, you have people come into people's houses and totally disrespect them, totally try to take over. What you need to do as a thermostat is truly behave like a general and let that other general do their job and just become part of their council like a thermometer would. Therefore, you're acting more like a thermometer, but you let them know if anything pop off, you know I got you. I got your back and I can step in and handle some things. I can yank some stuff up, you know? And likewise, if you are a thermometer going into somebody else's terrain and territory, let them handle it, especially if they are a thermometer. Let them be the one who is there as the source of information on what's happening. You know, be quiet and sit back and enjoy yourself. Take a day off. Turn off the observation and learn how to relax. Don't be on guard and so tense, because even if you feel something, others might feel it. And so you want to make sure that you're having fun and allowing others around you to have fun. Don't be on guard so much. And mattresses, you already know what to do. You know. All right. So guess what, y'all? Yes, my time is up. I thank you for yours. Thank you. Don't forget to use our link at MichelleSpiva.com/AMZ for all of your Amazon shopping this season. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. And that's going to do it for today's podcast of Wisdom Smack with Michelle Spiva. If you like this podcast, please help us get the word out. Like, comment, subscribe, and even share. And if you really like it, please help us continue to get the word out by considering using this show's link for Amazon. So when you want to go to Amazon and you do all of your general shopping, please use MichelleSpiva.com/AMZ. It's simple as that. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and this show might receive a little bit of commission that will go towards helping to further get these episodes out to you and to others. So thank you so much for listening. This has been Michelle Spiva with Wisdom Smack. Bye.